Hi, my name is Kirsty. Welcome to Kirsty Knits and Sews. This is my podcast where I show about all the things that I've been making. Anything that I show you here today, which is knitting, crochet related, will have a Ravelry project page linked down below, as well as our Ravelry group chat. If you want to share something about what you've been making or jump into a discussion over there, you can go have a look. I am very excited to be with you today. My kids finish school for the year tomorrow, and so this is probably my last time to record for a little bit, a regular episode, because they will be around a lot. So wanted to squeeze in some time here to share with you what's been going on. I have an advent to share with you. I will do that toward the end, so that if you're not interested in seeing all the different days of what was in the advent, you can just stop at that point. But I do have, it's a Jane Austen advent that was a swap between me and some of my friends. I have some 12 cast on plans, and I have a few stat number things to talk about, but I also have some finishes, some Christmas gifts, and some new things that I've started. So thank you so much for being here. It is so good to see you. I hope you have a warm drink or a cold drink, depending on where you are in the world. I have tea today, Prince of Wales Twinings, I think. This is one of my go-to Christmas mugs because it's one of the bigger ones. So yeah, I've got tea today. Let's get going. I have finished 3 things since I last saw you here, and they are all socks. So for those of you who have been keeping track, this is the other reason I really wanted to record today. I have been making socks for my son's teachers, and I did get them all finished. I'm so excited. One pair I showed you a couple of episodes ago, and that is completely done. The second pair that I finished is this one. This is just a 2x2 broken rib. So the pattern is Manila Socks on Magic Loop by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. And I just did 2 rows ribbed, 2 rows plain. So that is how you get that effect. Super easy. I do have both socks finished, but I only have 3 of these sock blockers. So I decided 1 on the sock blocker, 1 free. These are, I do have the yarn label here, hang on. This is what the yarn looked like before, and it is Malabrigo Ultimate Sock Sur 164. Yeah, it was great to work with. It's very soft, but it does have nylon, so I'm hoping it'll hold up pretty well, but that's what I've got left. So they took, let me just get my other notebook out here for a sec. That is 79 grams to make these socks. They are for a teacher. I don't know exact size, so I just picked someone in my family who I thought had similar size feet to this person and knit socks in that size. If you're new here, I have a husband and 2 kids, and I live in Poland, in Rzeszów at the moment, but we are planning to move soon to a neighbouring town. So these are Christmas gift for the teachers here, but there's not a usual Christmas gift for teachers in Poland. As far as I'm aware, it tends to be end of year gifts. But this is the end of my kids going to the school. So they're Christmas gifts, but they're also a very special Christmas gift because this is the end of them teaching my children. So I wanted to get them done. The next teacher gift that I did get finished, I love, love, love these. I love them. This is Follow Your Path, also by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. They are super easy and super fun. Like, it's a 4-row repeat. 2 rows of the 4 are the same, and you're just doing, and the other 2 rows are basically the same. But you get this beautiful, it's not a cable, it's a faux twist, or it's a twist, a faux cable, twisted stitch, whatever, to get that. I did make them short. I never know how people wear their socks, but for this person, I thought she's probably more likely to wear them with like ankle boots or something. So I just did some shorties for her. I did 7 repeats of the pattern for the leg and then however long for the foot to make it the size that I thought she would need. This teacher, my son, said her favorite color is white. And so I've just chosen this pale gray, which I just love. And it is BJ's hand-dyed yarn, and it's 70% alpaca and 30% nylon. So this one is an Australian dyer. My sister sent me this yarn last year. I think I knit some socks for her, and so she sent me some yarn to say thank you. And so, as in, I knit socks for her to give away as a present. And so she gave me yarn back. So that is the 3rd pair of teacher socks done. Very excited about that because I need to go tomorrow. We also 3D printed some, did I leave that there? 3D printed some dragons for the kids, but I haven't brought them up to show you. Yeah, so that is 2 of the pairs of socks that I finished. And that pair of socks, the last one, Follow Your Path, I started on the 10th of December and I finished on the 16th of December. I think I knit the 2nd sock in like 24, maybe 36 hours. Yeah, 36 hours from starting it to finishing it. In that time, I slept. I did a whole lot of other stuff, but I just wanted to get it done. And I did get it done. I started at lunchtime on Monday and I finished it in the evening on Tuesday. My plan was to finish it by today so that I could record and show you the finished pair before I give them away tomorrow. So I was very happy that that got done. And other knitting has taken a back seat to the sock knitting for obvious reasons. The other pair of socks I finished are the DK Weight Christmas socks. These are a gift for my husband, and I did it in Gazelle 6-ply hot socks Xmas. And this is colour 6344. I pull from the outside of balls when I'm doing cakes because they stay sitting upright. For these ones where if you pull from the outside they flop around, I tend to pull from the inside, and then once I've done a pair of socks I will then wind that up into a ball because I don't like the floppy. It is a self-patterning, so you can see on the label there, and I did do a little bit of, not management, I didn't chop out any yarn, but I did want to get them to match as much as I could. So the first one I just started where it was, and that was with this tiny bit of green. You can see here there's 2 rows, but the rest of it you've just got the cast on thread was green and then it went into the red. And so when I got down to this green here, I knew that the next colour was this red. And so I tried to stop this green slightly early so that I'd have enough to do the cast on the same here. I didn't quite manage it. And you can see there's a little bit of the cuff that doesn't have the green pop. That's fine. It meant that I still was able to knit it. However, it meant that I have a slightly longer toe. If you can see here, the toe actually starts here. So I knit 7 rounds before I started for the toe, and then I started the toe. And I think that should fit the person that it's for. It is DK Weight Vanilla Socks by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. It's a free pattern, and I did size large for this one, but I used a 3mm needle because it's a slightly thinner than DK yarn. And I like the fabric I got, so I will do that again for my next lot of DK weight socks that are slightly thinner, and I will keep using the 3.25 for the thicker ones. I also did the heel out of Novita Nale, and this is colour, where are we? 523 in the middle there. So I bought this to do some colourwork socks for me, and I thought, let's pop in a contrast heel so that I'm not having the lines on the heel. I really like how it worked. I did do an extra 2 pattern repeats during the heel flap to make the heel a bit longer, because my husband has quite a wide arch, a large section here in his foot. It also makes the gusset a bit longer when you do a longer heel flap. So I did that. When I got to the second sock, I didn't have the first sock in a place where I could count, and I just thought that I'd done 10 rows here. And then later I checked and it was actually 7. So I don't know if I can line them up properly, but the second sock has 3 more rows in the foot. Now I thought about ripping it out, like ripping out the toe and re-knitting it with 3 rows less, but because of the time pressures at the moment, I left it, and I'm going to give them to my husband, and I'm going to see if he notices. And if he does notice, then I can rip it out and fix it. But if he's like, that's fine, I can barely tell a difference, then I'm just going to leave it and try and remember next time to not do that. But yeah, so I love it. That is the first pair of socks for our Christmas stockings done. And those ones took me about a month, I think, from start to finish. 20th of November to the 15th of December, and they are 98 grams. So a bit longer, not because they're hard, they're just vanilla knitting, but because I wasn't focusing on them, I was taking them to the places that I need simple knitting. However, the bag itself, I don't have with me because they're finished. The bag itself was bigger. So I have a quite small one that's about this big for when I'm doing like just a pair of fingering weight socks, because this one I had 2 bigger balls of yarn. I had a big bag, which meant it wasn't as simple to just take around in my handbag, in my backpack. So maybe it got less work for that reason. And these ones I was still taking when I needed like simple knitting or an on-the-go project, because the bag was much smaller. And these ones also were 63 grams, I believe. Yeah, 63 grams. The DK were 98, and the other ones were 79. Yeah, I know. I'm good. And so with all of my Christmas knitting earlier in the year, you would think that I was done. But no, I have at least 2 more pairs that I'm planning to finish before Christmas, which today is December 18th. Yeah, December 18th. I have 2 more pairs that I'm planning to finish before Christmas, which is in exactly a week, and possibly a 3rd pair, but we're still thinking about that. So the next pair that I have started, which is hopefully going to be finished for Christmas, is this one. The wool is Happy Toes. It's a hobby yarn, and I think I got it for free. It was like buy a certain amount and get something for free type one, or you buy it with points or something. So it's 50 gram. It's called Happy Toes, 75-25 wool polymid. And yeah, it's superwash. So you can see the rainbow there. The color is number 4, which I don't remember what. They have names on the website, and I can't remember what the name is for this one. Anyway, it's rainbow. I was planning to knit my kids' Christmas socks. And then when I went to cast them on, they were Christmas colors, red, green. And I thought, my son already has a pair of Christmas socks, but he's been asking for rainbow socks. And my daughter's also been asking for rainbow socks. So I started these ones for my son to make him rainbow socks. I didn't start at the red, obviously. I just started pulling from the inside wherever it was. So it's knitting the rainbow backwards. And I don't know if I'll do the heel next or if I'll wait. Didn't even bring the yarn for the heel. I have a blue-green contrast for the heel. So I'll either put that in at the next white stripe or maybe a few stripes in. These ones I'm expecting him to be wearing with his snowshoes. And so I'm doing rib in the hope that it will stay up a little bit better. The ones that he has do kind of fall off his feet a lot. So I'm hoping with the extra tightness and structure, it'll both grow with him a little bit, but also just fit him a little bit better. And I'm going to do the same for my daughter. That is a ribbed all over sock. But I have another yarn which I didn't bring up with me. It's downstairs, but it's a pastel rainbow. And I don't think it's a true every colour of the rainbow, but it's pastel colours, which she seems to like better. So we've got the bright rainbow and the pastel rainbow. These ones, I'm doing a size small of the Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop, and I'm using 2.5mm needles, which is my normal for socks. And I will measure his foot, figure out how long to make the foot. I think for my daughter, I'll do the same pattern basically, but 48 stitches instead of the size small. That's an extra. With Kay's patterns, the large, the medium, and the small have the same amount of stitches between them. So I'm just doing that amount of stitches lower and changing all the numbers to match it. But I will do the ribbed for her as well. These ones I started 2 days ago. Oh, yesterday. I started these yesterday. So that is just a little bit of knitting while I was watching TV. I think we watched Emma last night. So that was fun. The other thing that I started yesterday, yes, some new cast-ons happening, is this. So this is a fairy shimmer cake. Yeah, it is acrylic, polyamide, acrylic, polyester, metallicized fibre, and polyamide. It is like a core spun yarn. I'm not sure if you can be able to see that. This is the first time I've worked with it. I'm not enjoying the process immensely. I bought it. It's from Action here in Poland, and I bought it specifically to make something for my daughter. So this is what I've done so far. And my plan was to do this as a cowl. So do it and then fold it over, and then do a bit of a neck or something on it to allow her to so I wanted to make the cowl with some kind of neck, and I knew that I had 4mm 60cm, which is what, 32-inch cord, and I thought that would be 24-inch cord. I thought that would be good to do a cowl. However, to do a cowl for a kit like that with ribbing is coming in quite tight. I think it would be okay, but the needles I'm finding are too pointy, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a spun yarn that I'm just splitting the yarn all the time, or if it's the fur, but I keep catching on the yarn, and so it's not an enjoyable knit. I did this much last night while I was watching the first episode of Emma, but I'm really tempted. I pulled them out and put them somewhere. Here we go. I'm really tempted to change to 5mm Addy needles because the ends are not as pointy. So what I'm using at the moment is Mindfulness, and you can see there the difference in point is pretty significant. And so what I find with Addy is where Mindfulness, Thiago my favorite, but Thiago and Mindfulness are really good for doing things like picking up stitches, making things. Addy kind of slips past things a little bit more, which makes it annoying for picking up stitches, but I think it'll be perfect for this kind of thing. Now, I'm of two minds. First of all, I've already done this much. I have plenty of yarn. It's 250 meters, plenty of yarn. I've already done this much, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to undo it. It's fluffy. It's going to get caught and not undo properly anyway. So what I think I might do is actually just cast this off, sew in the ends, and call this like a headband or something, ear warmers, I don't know, and then start again with the larger needles. And I'm actually considering, rather than starting with the neck, the cowl part, starting flat, knitting up, adding stitches, going to the back, similar to the construction of the Moby neck, which I have a pattern for, but the sizing will be quite different. But something like that, and then picking up the neck at the end to finish it off. Excuse me. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm showing you this, but it is about to change. In terms of the look of it and the ribbing and stuff, I have no problem with the 4mm needles. I just don't have Addies in 4mm. I have them in 3, 3.5, and 5, 5.5, but not 4. And I don't want to go smaller because that's going to take longer, not be quicker. So that's that one. The yarn, I mean, it's pretty. It's sparkly. It's not my favorite, but my kids are going to love it. And I say kids because I've got this one, but then I've also got it in a variation of blues. Like I think it's got 3 or 4 different blues in it. And I'm going to do the same hopefully for my son because neither of my kids likes wearing scarves. And this is soft and I'm hopeful that it will just give them that layer in the cold. So there you go. That is another cast on. The other one that I've been working on, which is not a new cast on, but I am ready to show you a bit more progress, is my Awesomer Gossamer. Awesomer Gossamer. Now, this is a shawl by Stephen West, which uses only fluff. It doesn't have any, I mean, I think it's designed to be held with like silk mohair held double or suri alpaca. I'm doing a suri alpaca mohair, I think. I can't even tell you. I'm using 7 different colors, and in the shawl, 8 different, no, I'm using 7. The shawl is you get 8 different colors and then you hold them 2 at a time together. So you end up with 8 colors, but every color is mulled. I couldn't find an 8th color that went with these when I was buying them, and so I ended up buying 7. And so color 1 and 2, or A and B, are the same. But because every color is mulled, that just means it's mulled with itself. And so I have one kind of pure color, and then the rest of them are mulled. And this is what I've got so far. I am loving this. When I started it, I don't know, a couple of months back, I did this part very quickly, and then I got to these, and because the baubles are, like, they're not difficult, but the bauble row, you have to kind of undo some stitches, and I was finding that a bit fiddly with so much fluff. I figured out how to way to do it so that it's not as fiddly, and I'm pretty excited about this now. And just look at that, the baubles. My husband calls this his owl scarf. He requested it, he helped pick the colours because he wanted a shawl that looks like an owl. These, in his imagination, the feathers. Maybe if I do it like this as an owl, that's not going to work well with the needles. Beautiful. What can I say? There is these big gaps on the side, which I thought was a bit strange, but from looking in the pattern photos, I think is normal. The marling effect I'm really enjoying, and I like how that gets a beautiful gradient. Even if the colours themselves are not quite gradienty, it does provide gradient. And I was hoping to get this done for Christmas as well, which we all know is not going to happen at this point, but I was hopeful. And so what I did at the beginning of the month is I sat down and I picked it out and I figured out how many sections I'd have to do. And it was near the beginning of the month, and I think there were like 24 rows. And so I was like, if I just do like one bauble section a day, then I should be fine. And I was also thinking they're going to get longer as you go, but I'm going to have less other knitting to do as I go, and so I should be fine if I do like a couple of rows for the first few days, and then, yeah. Well, that worked for 3 days, I'm going to say, that I did 2 rows a day, and then I got distracted with my other knitting. So I've given up on this as a Christmas present. Our anniversary is in January. So that's my next plan, is that once I get through Christmas and 12 cast-ons, then I'll have, 8 days to really motor through this, right? Yeah. I might just make it and give it to him when I give it to him, when it's done. But I do like it, and now that I've picked it up and worked on it, it is actually a pretty simple knit, and I can just pick it up and work on it. I do find that I have to look at it. Most of my knitting I don't have to look at anymore. And because I have to look at it if I'm tired and I'm doing this, I do get sleepy much quicker because my eyes are almost shut while I'm looking at the knitting. So I have done a little bit at night, but if I'm tired and working on it, it doesn't work well at all. And the other thing I'll say about that is I have been working consistently on my advent knitting in the morning, and I'm about to show you that now actually. I am planning to continue that until that shawl is done, but once that shawl is done, maybe I'll flip over to the Awesome Gossamer to keep getting that done. Now, advent knitting is in this bag. I did make this bag. If you're interested, I have a tutorial for how to make bags here. The tutorial will be linked below. The tutorial is for a bag smaller than this, but I do talk about how to change the size of your bag in the tutorial. No pattern needed, just click on the link and it's a YouTube video. This one I made a bag for everyone who participated in the Advent Swap, and this is mine. All right, so first I'm going to show you the shawl itself, which is this. The pattern is the Luminaria shawl by, I'm not even going to remember now. Bye. No, I'm not singing Backstreet Boys. Lindsay Fowler. There we go. And basically this is the pattern. It just continues, and then at the very end there is a different border, but this is the bulk of the shawl. I'm really enjoying knitting this. The colours I will take you through later on. Like I said, not everyone's going to be interested in hearing all of the colour names, but I can tell you the first four were Sense and Sensibility. Oh, my needle's gone through the shawl, that's why it's hanging funny. The first four, the green to the pink was, to the orangier colour was Sense and Sensibility. The pink through to, there's a little bit in here of a, here you go. In here it's a green and yellow. That one was Pride and Prejudice. The sea green through to the pink is Northang Abbey. And then the green to the top, the purple, is Mansfield Park. We're currently opening Emma, and the final one will be Persuasion. So this is my Jane Austen Advent. I did speak about last week wanting to cast it on, and I did put a note on the screen that I had cast it on since recording and before I edited. And I kept up with it pretty well until I started really focusing on those fully part socks. And then I decided I would do one row, not one colour, but one row. No, I don't even know how to say it. It's half a pattern repeat, which ends up being 4 rows, but because it's mosaic knitting, it's 1 row back and forth of the colour and then 1 row back and forth of the main colour, contrast colour, main colour. So like this here, the purple and the white above it, that was this morning. I did a bit of extra of the pink yesterday because of this one here, because I had a bit of extra time. Can't remember why, but I did. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing one set of rows, I guess. One colour and then main colour, contrast colour, main colour back and forth every day. My plan is in the morning. The rows are getting longer. And in terms of how many rows of each colour, I'm just following the picture on the pattern. In the pattern, she says you can kind of do as many or few as you want. I really like her shawl. A lot of people had stuck, like this pink one here, you can see is entirely within the white bumps. And a lot of people have done an entire shawl that way. I'm not a fan of that look because you lose that kind of tartany look that you get, or the plaid look that you get from having colours change halfway through. So I deliberately wanted the colours changing halfway through. So I'm doing each section of colour the same as the way Lindsay did in her example pattern. I'm enjoying it. Some colours are definitely darker than others. I'm trying to remember, because I did the final 4 I dyed the final 4. I'm trying to remember if there's any darker colours, because I feel like we need another dark section here, because some of the early ones were quite dark. And I'm of two minds. One is I could bring back Sense and Sensibility at the end, because it's such a small amount at the beginning, so I could start and end with Sense and Sensibility, because I think there's, I'd have to double check, I think there's 10 colours more, or 10 sections of colours more than the 24 in the advent in the pattern, or in the like sample piece. I'd have to double check that. However, I'm also tempted to just finish it early and have a smaller shawl. I'm not going to put it on right now because it'll bump the mic, but if I just kind of put it around my neck right now, it ends up joining at the back and being quite a comfortable collar, but it doesn't come around the side. So I'm like, by the time I add another 8 colours and it's going to come out to maybe here, that would be quite a nice little cowl size shawl. And so I could do that and then just finish it off early, because I do have a lot of shawls at the moment, and more being made all the time because I love them. But I was thinking, yeah, what could actually work well in my wardrobe? And this is so soft and delightful that I could totally see myself putting it on under a jacket and wearing it a lot. It would work well with my jacket too. I have a dark green jacket. So I will show you the colours. I know someone mentioned that they've been really excited to see the Jane Austen Advent, and I'm not doing Vlogmas, so I will show that at the end. But before I get to that, a couple of things. First of all, I am planning to do 12 cast-ons this year and next year. And I have over here my, at the moment it has papers in it, but they're not folded up yet because I've been doing a bit of planning in my pot. That's what it's called. If you don't know what it is, 12 Cast-Ons is a make-along hosted by Ange of Yarn and Yarns, who will be linked below, where she casts on 12 new things between Christmas Eve and the end of January the following year. And then you knit on them throughout the year, and if you finish them, great, and if you don't, you just make progress on them. I am very excited to do it again. I did it last year, and I pulled out everything this morning to do a little wrap-up of what I made last year and to talk about a little bit of what I'm planning to do this year. But I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, so I'm just going to quickly tell you here that I have my pot. It's prepared. I have 24 projects in there, and I'm going to cast on 12, which means I'm going to do half of them. And I think that works pretty well. The other 12 I may start throughout the year, or I might leave until next year. It just depends on what I am in the mood for. I have, on a side note, I am in the middle of a move. We are waiting to hear back on a house at the moment that if we get it, we'll probably sign renting. We'll probably sign a lease in the next couple of days. But I have completely, I'll put a little clip in here, completely been emptying out the craft closet, putting everything into tubs and boxes and whatever. I don't entirely know what my storage situation will be at the new house, even if this is the new house. And so I've just been organising, trying to figure it all out. But I still want to do 12 cast-ons. If we get this house, it means that the lease will start probably on the 1st of January, which is right smack bang dab in the middle of 12 cast-ons. And I've been thinking about whether I just don't do it this year, which has never really been a real possibility. I really want to do it. I loved it last year. But I've been trying to figure out what that looks like. So my plan as it stands is to start on the 26th of December like I did last year, and to just start something every day. And I will give myself grace if something happens house family wise that means I can't do one on a certain day, then I will not do it on that day. But it is just 12 cast-ons. It's not 12 finished projects. And so I normally have time to knit when the kids go to bed. I normally have a little bit of time to knit before the kids wake up, although that will probably still be the Advent knitting because I'm not awake enough to do anything that early. Plus all my stuff is in my bedroom where my husband is usually still asleep at that time of the morning. Anyway, it means I should have a bit of time in the evening to at least pull out a pattern, pull out needles, pull out the yarn and cast it on. What I did do this year, because of the chaos that is in my house, is I went through, thanks to everyone's suggestion, by the way, I did whittle down. I've got about 40 projects that I could have in here, and I've whittled it down to 24. And they are 24 that I am really excited to start. But when I was packing up my craft room, what I did was I went through those 24 and I made sure that the yarn that I needed for those projects was separate. So everything else I could pack, but I had them separate. Some of that is scrappy, so that's fine. The scrappy yarn stayed out. One of it is scrappy but needs one main skein, so I pulled out a main skein for that one. I did actually add 1 or 2 projects to that while I was doing it, because I found other things that would work, and I took one out when I was like, actually, that doesn't inspire me anymore. So it's kind of a curated list, and I'm very excited. And I'm honestly, if it was a normal year and I had time, I may have even made it a 24 cast-ons of Christmas, or done 2 a day or something. This is not the year for that. But I am excited, and I hope that you are excited. Yeah, if you are participating, let me know. If you enjoy watching other people do it, but it's not your cup of tea, let me know. I finished 5 of the 12 that I started last year, and I will do a separate video to show you what it is. Actually, this was day 1's cast on from last year, and I wear it all the time. Oh, I'm wearing Heritage Harbour by Samantha Gurin. And again, project page for this project will be linked below. It's using Martin's Lab Polworth yarn. I love it. Can't remember the colorways. Don't even ask. Yeah, so 12 cast-ons. Very excited. We'll see what that is. But yes, my plan is to do a intro video talking about what I finished last year or this year, and a little bit about how it's going to work next year. But the basic upshot is I'm going to cast on projects. There should be 12 of them. I'm hoping to record daily and upload and edit and upload pretty on the ball, but there is a possibility that I won't upload them every day, depending on how we're going with the move, because we'll actually be moving house in that time. The other thing that I mentioned last time was I'm very close to using 10,000 grams this year. And I'm not there yet. I did added what I've used so far, and I've used 9,370 so far this year. That's 630 to go. Now, I don't have any plans to finish 630 grams worth of yarn in the next, sorry about that, message, in the next couple of weeks. Yep, weeks. Because I will be casting all the new things, and I don't think I'll finish anything other than Christmas presents. But it's a possibility, and I am planning to make at least a mini dog sweater, which might use a bit up. So yeah, just thought I'd keep you updated with that. Do you think that I'll get to the 10,000? Maybe, maybe not. I was genuinely don't know. I doubt it at this point, but who knows? All right. You ready to see the advent yarn? If advent yarn is not your thing, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next time. If advent yarn is your thing, or you just love Jane Austen, let's see if I can find the colours in some kind of order, or at least do the colours together. So I did show you the first 5 days. I remember that. I still have 2 of them in bags because I haven't actually wound them up yet. So let's see if I can. Okay, I'm going to do them not in order that I open them, but I will do them in groups of 1, 2. Nope. Books. All right. Can I do this so that you can see them better? These 4 are Mansfield Park. We have finds comfort in nature, talking about Fanny Price. We have, I'm going to have to look these ones up because I don't know the rest of them. The purple one is finds a way to be grateful even in her suffering. That's the one that I'm currently using and it is attached to my yarn. This one here, it's pink and white, or reddish pink and white, and it's preserving true moral consciousness amid the selfish manoeuvring of society. So this one, when it was dyed and when you unwound the skein, it had the pink, red at one end and then a little bit of white of Fanny standing out against what everyone else in society was doing at the time. And then this one is a speckled one, which has 8 different colours and every colour represents a different attribute. So it says, 6. Clever, practical, resolute, humble, resilient, kind. And so there are 6 different colours in there and each one represents a different part of Fanny's character. So that was Mansfield Park. I watched the 1999 version, which, amusing, Edmund from the 1999 version of Mansfield Park is Mr. Knightley in the mini-series of Emma. Edmund from the 2007 version of Mansfield Park is Mr. Elton in the mini-series of Emma. Who knew, right? Things you learn when you're doing a Jane Austen advent. All right, the next one I'm going to show you is Pride and Prejudice. One of them I've already shown you, but let me get the other 2 out. Yes, I think this is right. So these ones are Pride and Prejudice. And these ones were done not according to quotes, but according to relationships. So this beautiful pure pink is Jane and Mr. Bingley. This firecracker is Mr. Darcy and Lizzie. All the fire in their relationship. This one, what's on there? There you go. This one is Lydia and Wickham. And this one I found really interesting because, like, that yellow, if I can do it onto the side, like, that is a very bright yellow. And it was a very bright yellow with kind of a darker broody blue. And it was faded into each other. So the middle is actually quite a swampy green, is what my friend calls it. Hey, Rosie. It was quite a swampy green. And it was just really interesting to see, having it laid out flat, Lydia was so bright. But obviously she marries someone who is, you know, corrupt, not a great man. And when you mix them together, you lost that vibrancy and that joy. And I just found that interesting how that worked in the colour. And then this final one is Charlotte and Mr. Collins. So the blue is Charlotte, nice, peaceful, practical. And then that other colour, which may be looking more grey on the screen, it's a very pale purple. You know, I looked at it and said, Mr. Collins is pretty beige, but it's also purple, pale purple, because he's a clergyman, a vicar. So the first one we had, actually, not even the next one. The first one we did was Sense and Sensibility, which I've already shown you. And I won't read the quotes again. These are all getting unravelled in my bag. I won't read you the quotes again, but these are the colours. We had Emotional Marianne was the green, Calm Eleanor was the blue-grey, Passionate Willoughby was the burgundy, and then was it Compassionate? Now I want to know. It was Colonel Brandon. gentle Colonel Brandon was this orangey salmon colour. And then the final one that we have opened in its entirety are these ones, which were Northanger Abbey. So I think we started with this one, which I will pull out because it does have quotes. And it was, a heroine in the making. But when a young lady is to be a heroine, the perverseness of 40 surrounding families cannot prevent her. Something must and will happen to throw a hero in her way. The quotes with this one just made me want to read the book again. Beautiful colours, but my goodness, the quotes. I don't know if this looks any different for you because I am wearing the same jumper, but I am now recording tomorrow because I finished recording the episode and showing you all the beautiful colours, and when I looked back at the footage, I realised that my mic had died 10 minutes from the end maybe. So I couldn't finish recording it yesterday. I had to go off pick up the kids from school, and now I am back one day later to show you the last few colours, and it means you get to see one extra because I opened another one this morning. So the sound cut out halfway through showing you this colour. So this one is Northanger Abbey. That's where we were. And this one is called The Heroine Meets Her Hero. Yes, I know exactly what you will say. Friday, went to the lower rooms, wore my sprigged Muslim robe with blue trimmings, black plain shoes, appeared to much advantage, but was strangely harassed by a queer half-witted man who would make me dance with him and distressed me by his nonsense. Love it. I don't know when I last read Northanger, but I should do that again. The next one is Northanger Abbey Imagined. Some dark broody colours here. And are you prepared to encounter all the horrors that a building such as what one reads about may produce? Have you a stout heart, nerves fit for sliding panels and tapestry? Seriously, so much fun. I've just put the quotes inside the balls here. I wind these little balls by hand, just put them on my thumb and wind around them. Really, really helpful. I learned how to do it from a tutorial, but it was a few years ago now and I don't remember, but I'll have a look and see if I can find one to pop up because it is really helpful for just winding up minis every day rather than getting out the full Swift and winder. And I also find they stay together better when you've used half of them because they're solid balls from a smaller amount, where when I do a cake for a 20 gram, it just kind of falls apart a bit. All right. So this is the last one for Northanger. It is very similar to the Jane and Bingley one, but it is a bit more variegated. And it's called Wedding Bells at Last. Henry and Catherine were married. The bells rang and everybody smiled. And as this took place within a 12-month from the first day of their meeting, it will not appear, after all, the dreadful delays occasioned by the general's cruelty, that they were essentially hurt by it. To begin perfect happiness at the respective ages of 26 and 18 is to do pretty well, and professing myself moreover convinced that the general's unjust interference, so far from being really injurious to their felicity, was perhaps rather conducive to it by improving their knowledge of each other and adding strength to their attachment, I leave it to be settled by whomsoever it may concern, whether the tendency of this work be altogether to recommend parental tyranny or regards filial disobedience. So that is Northanger Abbey. The next one that we're currently opening is Emma. Now, again, because this is now one day later, I did finish the last colour adding in here of Mansfield Park. So I am ready to start Emma, but I haven't wound any up yet. So we'll do this in order too. The first one is Mr. Knightley's Chair. There are quotes that go with this one, but they're on my phone, like they were on a chat rather than printed out. So this is Mr. Knightley's chair, and it is inspired, I believe, by his vest in the miniseries, or his clothes in the miniseries. I love that we have a couple of browns. There is a lot of blues and pinks and greens in this advent. So it's nice to have a couple of browns to round it out. Day 18, so this is yesterday. Crinkle Crinkle is Emma's matchmaking. And absolutely stunning. Very subtle colours. It's like a peach with a little bit of like a citrus green almost, and then some very pale pink stripes as well. It is gorgeous. And then today is Harriet's Treasures. And this is today's one, which is based on Harriet's dress, I think, when she is talking about her treasures. I love it. And I'm very excited to have a few more pale ones because I think I mentioned it before, it was yesterday for me now, so I don't quite remember, but the border is using pale ones. So I'm glad that I'm getting some options for that. Squishing these all back in the bag, putting the shawl back in. Yeah, so there you go. They're the last few colours that I've opened. I've still got 5 more to open before Christmas Day. So next time I do a video, I will update you all on that and where I'm up to with it. I can't remember if I said this at the end of the other video or not, so I'm going to say it again now. I'm not planning to record a regular video episode anytime soon. Today is my kids' last day from school, and next week is Christmas. I am planning to record every day after Christmas for the 12 cast-ons, but they won't be uploaded every day because we also have a friend coming in from Australia, and so when she's visiting, I won't be able to edit and upload. And we're also going to be in the middle of moving. So I will still record as much as I can every day and get the 12 cast on by the end of January at least, but hopefully by around the 6th or 7th of January. And then after that, I will, when I can, and I'm not putting a time promise on this one, when I can, I'll record a regular episode and share with you what I've been making from now until then. I will not go back over all of the 12 cast-ons and show them on a regular episode until I work on them again. When I work on them again, I will of course show you where I'm up to, what progress I've made, but the end of 12 cast-on, of a day where I cast on a new project, that will be the only time you see that project until I work on it again. However, I am going to record one more episode right now. Not an episode, a 12 cast-ons wrap up and introduction of what I worked on this year. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully that one will be up before I start doing the 12 cast-ons. And Merry Christmas to you. Have a great week. I hope you have fun plans for Christmas and for the holidays with your family and friends. And I will see you after Christmas for 12 cast-ons. Bye.